Good morning, St. Louis. It is that time. It is Tuesday. It is 7 a.m. So it's time for the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. And today we're talking about criminalizing poverty. What is your opinion on that? Is it a crime in America to be broke? Let's talk about it this morning, man. Do me a favor. Go ahead and comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand. This is going to be fun for me. Because I got my opinions are all over the place on this one, and I'm sure Michelle's is too. So we're talking criminalizing poverty. We know that poverty is a multi-trillion-dollar industry, but how does that relate when it comes to adding the authorities in it? And do they target poor people? Do they target broke people? We're going to get into all of that. Michelle has done her research, where it started, where we are, what kind of reform needs to happen. So comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen, and let's kick it.
Growing up in St. Louis has never been easy, and most say if you want to succeed here, that you must leave and put down roots somewhere else because of the strong crabs in a barrel mentality here.
I don't know if I'm just an optimistic person, but to see people like Chuck Berry and Nelly make it in the music industry, or the Roberts brothers and Dave Stewart in business, or William Lacey Clay Jr. in politics, can we blame the city, or is it that people just aren't hungry enough?
We're talking to all of the movers and shakers in this town, from entertainers to politicians, social activists and organizers, and of course, entrepreneurs.
Is there a curse on this city that holds people back? Is there an unseen hand that decides who makes it and who doesn't? You're about to find out.
Welcome to St. Louis Hustle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. I am, of course, your host, CORTEZ Hustle. That's my girl, Michelle. Hey! And we're coming to you live and direct from the Extradition Movement Studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like for your income to grow by an extra digit, if you're making 3 figures a week and you want to make 4, if you're making 4 figures a month and you want to make 5, you're making 5 figures a year and you want to make 6, the Extradition Movement is the place for you. We're an organization of financial educators, and we teach you how to make money, bringing financial literacy to your family and to your community. All you got to do is text keyword extra digit to 314-874-6887. Again, text keyword extra digit to 314-874-6887. I'll get you all the information for you to make an informed decision as to whether or not this is the organization you want to hang out with. Michelle, today we're talking criminalizing poverty.
Man.
And is it a crime in America to be broke? What say ye, people? But before we get into that, how was your weekend, sis?
Man, oh man. I'm excited for this show. I'm going to tell you about my weekend, but this show right here,
Yes.
I'm a witness. Oh, I'm a witness. I have been both broke and criminalized for being broke. Somebody need to lock up the police that locked me up. That's all I got to say. They criminalized my brokenness, and that ain't right. That is not right. So
I agree.
Right. So the weekend, man, it was a pretty good weekend. I can say I did more than I did last week, because last weekend I ain't do nothing. I was in the house incognito. But this weekend, just call me the book slanger. You know what I'm saying? Call me the book slanger. Call me the book slanger, because I was out slanging these things, baby. I was in the streets this weekend. I know folks hated to see me coming, because I'm going. If I've ever spent money in your place of business, I'm showing up with this book. That's what you just need to know. If I spend money and I drop, there's some establishments, because I like a nice refreshment. There's some places I drop a lot of money, or I used to on the weekends. So I showed up, and shout out to, I wish I remembered the name of this young lady's band, but her name is Ife, right? An amazing singer. I mean, there's lots of great vocalists here in St. Louis, but I was at one of my favorite places, shout out to Al's Lounge, and they have a live band on Saturdays and Sundays. So Sunday I went down and hung out with my people, and Ife and her band were down there. What's this guy's name? 314 Sax, Calvin I don't know Calvin's last name, but Calvin, Mr. Saxophone. Anyway, so they were down there getting a groove on, and she called me up and shouted out my book, and up in that spot, they drove sales. I dumped about 10 books real quick. I was like, man, but I just shout out that she could have just, hey y'all, she here, pick up a book, but she called me up. She let me say a few words about the book, you know, which I blessed her with a book, but behind her doing that, they mobbed my table. They was just like, boo, boo, boo. I mean, they,
Love it.
man,
Love it.
It was awesome. So just man, shout out to live music in St. Louis. I'm showing up again next week. We're gonna do it again.
What's the name of the spot? I gotta get out more, Michelle. I ain't gonna lie.
You know what? It's Al's Lounge, and this is what I love about Al's Lounge, right? Now, some people, if you're not, I'm not a smoker, right? But his place, he has I guess he got the license to do it. You can, they don't serve food. I think they serve pizza, something like that. But you can smoke cigars as well as, you know, in the establishment. And Al is he has 2 spots. You know, he has his Al's Lounge, and he just opened up a new business, a new lounge called Top Shelf. It's more like Al's is more everyday, come hang out, and, you know, parlay with your people. Top Shelf is more signature room. You know what I'm saying? It's more get dressed up, put on your niceness, you know, come enjoy Top Shelf everything. And I just really commend him. Al is a Normandy cat. He's good people. He's a down home dude, a little bit older than us. You know, I put him maybe for mid to late 50s, but when I say he just keeps it real, and people flock to, they support him because he is a neighborhood guy, and he's just real. So anyway, just support, you know, support St. Louis business, support Black owned business, man, support that guy. He's got 2 great places. So
gotcha. Love it. Awesome. Well, you want to do some COVID watch, or are you tired of watching COVID go up and down? Mask mandate is back in full effect in St. Louis.
Today is the day. Or
now, I don't normally watch the news, but I did see that. I was checking out some of the highlights of the Olympics, and of course they broke with the breaking news. Hey, mask mandates is on, and these jokers is fighting. Right, the governor is talking about the St. Louis County executive and the St. Louis City mayor, like, hey, y'all undermining the whole vaccine thing by putting masks back on. I'm like, man, it could get all Jerry Springer-ish around this mug if we ain't careful.
It's gonna be a reality show. You'd be like, what show is this? News. Oh, I thought this was Love and Hip Hop. No, this is the news, okay? Where white people attack. Oh, okay.
The governor gonna pull up on Mayor. Gonna pull up on City Hall, like, listen.
Right.
Like wearing no dang on mask.
Right. Look, you had to clean that up, because I don't think he will pull up on our new mayor. Pull up on the new mayor if you want to. She'll come out that lace front on you. I don't think you should push her. She's too new in office, and I don't think she's been there long enough. I think she still got some hood underneath that lace front. And if he pull up on St. Louis City, man, you better start with Ferguson and Pastor pray for you. But you pull up on old girl, pull up on what's her name, Miss Jones.
Yeah,
man, be like, who, Miss Jones? You pull up on her if you want to. That's all I'm saying. So I'm hoping that we don't get thrust back into more restrictions, because I do kind of feel like it is undermining the vaccination thing. You know what I'm saying? I think that to an extent, and this is just my opinion, people who pull cards, if you're just going to do that, you know what I'm saying? Pull people cards. You know what? You come in this establishment, you got your card, you vaccinated, like you ask for ID when I walk in. You ask if I'm 21 or older before you sell me alcohol, or 18 before you sell me cigarettes. Oh, you're in here? You need to be vaccinated. Okay, let me see your card. You ain't got a card, you need a mask on to get out. I get it. We don't want to keep spreading it, you know what I'm saying? But on or off, you know what I'm saying? Because you pushed everybody to get vaccinated. Now we still got to wear the damn mask. I just got back into wearing makeup and lipstick. I'm like, hell, what's the point? Geez. So anyway,
and it doesn't help that they keep interviewing all these people who are vaccinated and got COVID again. I
don't know what y'all folks do.
I don't understand y'all angle with that, because
I really don't. I don't understand.
It's like, Yeah, I'm fully vaccinated, but I got COVID because other people didn't wear their masks. Wait a minute. I thought the vaccine was going to keep you
Let
from
me
getting
thank you.
COVID.
Let me tell you something. Where y'all hanging out at? Because I got vaccinated. First of all, maybe I'm just covered by the blood. Hey, thank you.
There you go.
Maybe I'm
There you
just
go.
covered by the blood, and that's what it is. Because you know me, on a good day, I'm out there when the sun is shining. I'm out everywhere, and I ain't had mask the first on. Folks been talking and spitting on me left and right. I've been dodging, and it's been landing, and I've been like, wow. But you know, bless God, because didn't have it. I was blessed enough not to have it beforehand, and afterhand, I have it. So folks is showing up with COVID after the vaccination. Get somewhere to sit down. This ain't your time. This not your season. You might well just sit down somewhere, stay in the house. You know what I'm saying? So making it bad for the rest of us. Goodness.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is your COVID watch. And before we get to the A word of the day, we got to bring up our Aussie friend so that we can do it some justice. So this is the part of the show where we let Michelle give you her word of the day. What's on her heart? What's been troubling her this week? And she's got a word for you every single Tuesday. So let's get into the Michelle A word of the day.
And now the Michelle I word of the day.
Hey, good morning, St. Louis. All right, so it's Michelle A. Excuse me, here with your word of the day. And as I, try to put some thought into it each week when I bring you guys something inspirational or something thought-provoking, this week I thought about risky business, right? Y'all remember that movie from the 80s with what's that cruise boy where he ran and slid across the floor in a dress shirt and his drawers? Whole nother story. Anyway, but I thought about risky business. And, are you a person that takes risks? Do you throw caution to the wind? Are you too risky? Are you in the safe box? How are you living your life? I'm here to encourage you, be a little risky with your business. I equate risky business with stepping out on faith. If you look up in scripture, it's all in scripture. God wants us to trust him, and not necessarily where it's risky, like, oh my God, but he wants us to step out to new levels of trust in him. Now, other people might see it as risky, like, oh my God, what are you doing? You can't do that. It's such a risk. But you know what? No risk, no reward, and if you trust God, you'll find that you will be more comfortable with taking bigger risks and stepping out in greater capacity, right? Y'all all know my story. I took that risk. I walked away from corporate America a couple months ago to pursue my own business, right? In marketing and media, writing books. The book is just the first step for me. That was a risk. I've never written a book before. I'm not a writer like that. A storyteller, yes. Writer, no. I'm a little lazy with that. But the risk was I did it anyway. And I stepped out anyway. And I'm getting a reward for that. You'll miss things. Again, I told you, what do the words say? Well, this is what the words say. If you go to Ecclesiastes 11, chapters 4 through 6, it talks about taking risks. It's in the book of Matthew, verse 14, verse 29. Look at Peter, okay? That's the story when Peter walked on water. For him to get out the boat. Now, you knew Peter had to think, that's water, which is liquid, and I'm man, which is solid. If you put solid on liquid, it's going to sink. But he took the risk, and he stepped out, and he walked on water. Long as he stayed focused, the risk paid off. There was reward. But the moment that he took his eyes off the master, off Jesus, that's when he began to sink in his risk, right? So I just want to encourage you guys today, think about where you are in your life and what risks can you begin to take. How can you begin to trust God on a whole new level to where you could kind of up your ante, right? I'm here to tell you it works. God is faithful. Man, just step out. So again, indulge yourself in a little risky business, y'all. Boom. I am Michelle A, and this has been your Michelle A word of the day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and today's A Word of the Day is brought to you by A Ladies. It is Michelle's Women's Empowerment Group. I just dropped the link in the comments, and it will be in the show notes as well for those of you who are listening to the podcast.
Absolutely.
Join A Ladies. This group is a safe place for women to come together and build and lift each other up in all aspects and areas of life, business, career, family, relationship, spiritual connections, community. It's a place that you want to be if you are trying to grow as a woman in these St. Louis streets and beyond, because it's not just limited to women in the St. Louis metro area.
Absolutely. Just real quick about that, ladies. We're building right now in the group. So the doors are open. The doors of the church are open now. So, you know, I'm inviting people, you know, if you're already in the group, please invite a couple people to join the group. There's going to come a time where I'm going to close the door for a little bit, right? And it's going to be a little bit harder to get into the group, because once I close the door, that's when events will kick off. That's when we're going to have a lot of the discussions and a lot of the building going on. So if you're in a group, I appreciate you. Be a little bit patient with me. We are building, but when I close that door, it'll open up again, but I'm gonna close it because those that are in, we're going to work with those that are in, and we're going to do some amazing things. We're going to talk about things and how to grow and how to go next level. I'm going to have some influential women in the groups to show up and, you know, to begin to engage you guys. So again, I just implore you, get out there, share the link with a lady that you know that needs to be empowered, that wants to be empowered and go next level. The door is closing soon.
All right.
Soon. There it is.
That's it. So Michelle, you decided that, hey, Cortez, we need to do a show on the criminalization of poverty in America. And you guys know me. I believe that poverty is a part of the fabric of this country, and that it is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And one of the ways that the trillions are made from poverty is through criminalizing broke people.
Absolutely. I didn't know it was a thing. You know, I was on social media and I came across this video. It was like wasn't an official like newscast, but it was like an online infotainment kind of newscast. And this young lady was covering criminal poverty, and I had never heard of it. Right. And I was sharing this with you, Cortez. It was criminal poverty is like a unknown known. When you really break it down, it makes you go, yeah, that is right. But you don't really think about it overarching that it's a thing. You just say, oh, I know my cousin Earl was in this situation and that's what happened to him. Yeah, that's criminalizing poverty, right? So it led me to do some research and emoji face. Boy, what I discovered, right? So I wanted to start with, now this is not an official definition because I scoured the internet and I couldn't find an official definition for criminal poverty, but this is as close as I could come, right? It is when criminal poverty is when jurisdictions motivated by revenue raising shifts the cost of the criminal justice system to the poorest instead of passing politically inappropriate tax increases. So it really comes down to raise taxes or, you know, raise taxes to get money, which is unpopular. A lot of cities, counties, states, you know, raising taxes. Who wants to pay higher taxes, right? But states and cities, counties, etc., they have to get that income from somewhere. So if they don't raise taxes, they have to find other ways to get that revenue for their city or community. So I discovered, lo and behold, it was right around the Reagan era, 85, 86. He introduced this wonderful idea of I'm gonna lower taxes. But on the back end, it's like a backhanded compliment. Oh, you sure are pretty for a dark-skinned girl. Oh, you sure look cute for a big girl. Really? Get your life. It was like a backhanded compliment, people. They lower taxes, but they open the back door and say, oh, okay, we're gonna lower taxes, but you step on the crack, you're gonna do more than break your mama back. We're gonna lock that tail clean up. And what it does is people unable to pay and confronted by the court systems that often seem bent on ignoring the fact individuals face the real threat of incarceration, often because of minor offenses, traffic violations. Maybe you don't keep your with your home, your grass get too high, or your paint chipping on the side of your house. Minor things they give you a ticket for, and you already broke. They give you a ticket for something that you couldn't pay to get fixed, and the ticket gives you more fines that you have to pay when you couldn't pay the thing you got the ticket for in the first place.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, it is a real serious thing. And when you look at, when I think criminalizing poverty, there is a gazillion and one ways to do it. And we're going to get into some of those. But when you just think about the fact that I grew up in a small community called Wellston, right outside of St. Louis City, it's kind of on the borderline of the city and the county. It's going into
where it is.
It's going into the city, right? It's going into the county from the city, right? And all of those small municipalities like that, they became their own city. And one of the ways that they get revenue is through traffic ordinance and violations and things of that nature. Now, at the same time, Michelle, that they will post up and set up speeding traps and things of that nature to write tickets, they also know the address and all of the individuals who sell drugs in the community. I'm like, you posting up a speed trap so you can write tickets, so you can raise money. But instead of just going and knocking on the door where the dope is being sold and chasing down the people who are selling the dope, running them out, guess what? You run those people out, then the community becomes safer and people will feel comfortable moving into the community. It's it's the craziest thing. Like they literally, and I every time I pass, so my mom lives on a street that's not too far from Wellston and right there in the city off Romaine and Hodemont. And I'm like,
wow,
hey, she is in the hood. Okay, so right down on that corner, there it goes down 24/7. And I'm like, you over here trying to get somebody a doggone traffic ticket. All you got to do is go right there where they're doing the business and they're doing the business. And why don't you focus on cleaning that up?
Thank you. Here's the logic in it. I'm going to make it plain. I love the CORTEZ because you know what? You're going to go the knowledge-based route. I'm going to go the hood route. I wouldn't be speeding if I wasn't scared for my life because of them jokers, y'all that hang out on the corner. Okay? I wouldn't have to shoot down Romaine doing 60 if y'all would get these jokers on the corner because I'm afraid I'm going to get carjacked. I'm afraid I'm going to get robbed. So I'm going through there. I'm doing 45, 50 on the residential. Okay? Now I'm watching for the children. You know what I'm saying? But I don't stop at stop signs. You better be inside the middle of the crosswalk. If that's the only way I'm stopping at a stop sign in that neighborhood. And my sister lives right down the street from there. She stay off of Romaine and Hodemont, right up the corner. I'm not stopping at the stop sign. I'm doing drive-bys. But it's like fix, and they, like you said, they know where the offenders. They know where they live. I've seen cops. Okay, I've seen cops that patrol certain neighborhoods. You know where the bad guys stay. And you know where this law-abiding stop sign running citizen stay. You'll go post up at the stop sign because you know my schedule. You know I got to be at work. You see me every morning at a certain time. So, and you know my plate's wrong. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to wait to catch me. You're sitting right there. You know what I'm saying? When really, you know at the next corner, little Johnny is down there selling drugs, just like I'm on my way to work. He on his way to his. Selling drugs.
That's right.
But you'll wait on me. But you won't confront the man with the gun. And this is not to say, we don't blanket all cops. I love cops. Wink.
Yeah.
Y'all holler. No, holler. No. But I love cops, right? And so all cops are not like that, but there are some that I'm gonna get this easy ticket. I don't feel like going to play with bad guys today. I don't feel like chasing nobody. I don't feel like wrestling, and God forbid, I don't feel like getting shot. So I'm gonna go over here and do this traffic stop. It's not. It's just it's a backward society, you know.
Yeah.
Cortez, you know me. I might have been to jail about three or four, 7 times. 7 times, St. Louis. I'm not proud. I have graced the municipalities of St. Louis on 7 different occasions because of driving with. I mean, I was a single parent. I didn't make a lot back in the day, you know what I'm saying? And I couldn't afford to keep my car registered. So I had to choose between paying daycare and rent and this and that, lights, gas, electric, or get my car registered. You know what I'm saying? Pay these insane personal property tax that Illinois ain't got to pay. Whole nother story. You know, and you just, it was a thing. I was probably in that cycle for about 12 years. 12 long years. In and out, ducking and dodging, sweating bullets when you get pulled over. You know what I'm saying? Just, it's today I go to jail, you know, because I couldn't pay that last fine. And I ain't paying this one. I had a cop, this is one of my last points. I had a cop pull me over downtown St. Louis one time, and he ran my name and came back and he said, Miss A, it was around my birthday. He said, you know what? Happy birthday, ma'am. I ain't going. He said, you know, you got 14 warrants for your arrest. I was like, 14? Whoa. I gotta play that out. Look, 14, and he said you got 14 warrants in 7 municipalities. I was like, really? I gotta play them numbers. He said, you know what? I'm not gonna write you I ain't gonna write you no ticket. I was like, really? Because it's my birthday? He was like, no, you got 14 warrants. You ain't going to court no way. Why waste my time? You're not going to court. I said, sir, you're right. I'm not going to court. Don't do it.
Yeah, and then you get locked up and you have to do the grand municipality tour, right? It's like I've been there. It's like, hey, we're gonna set you up over here. You got pulled over in Charlotte. Okay, well, Charlotte gives you your runner tickets, place not registered, because they can pull you over for place not registered. Now they notice that your seatbelt is not on, so they're gonna give you that ticket too. And then if you don't have any insurance, you got insurance, and then your tail light is out, your inspection is out. So you got about 4 tickets in the initial instance of being pulled over. But when they run your name, they realize you got other warrants, so they take you in and they hold you for the other people to come and get you, right? And then the other people come and get you, and they're like, hey, we're glad they caught you. Because you owe us money too.
Thank you.
And you go and do this grand tour.
Yeah.
That sometimes could take you 24 to 48 hours before you finally get to your final destination and get your bail and get out. You know, I know the system all too well. I've been there, done that several times. And
it's ridiculous.
It's, in my case, it's just negligence, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's my case. And I'll be honest, it's just like I'm in the streets, I'm ripping and running, and I'm like, man, forget y'all. And then I was also of the ignorance of, I just put a $500 bail down to get out. Use that to pay the tickets, man. Leave me alone. I would come back in the court, and he's like, oh, well, your fine is just $200. Okay, take the $200 out of 5 and take the $300 tip and leave me alone. Because that's where I was with my street hustling. It was like, man, just get me out of here. Whatever that money is considered gone and burnt. So I thought that they would just use that money to, they don't. It's crazy. But that's just one of the instances of harassing poor and broke people. But you got a list of some of the things that we have to be consciously aware of. And we'll talk a little bit later on some things you can do to improve your finances so you can get out of that poverty-stricken place. But what are some examples of the criminal poverty?
I'm going to give you these examples. There's about 5 on my list. That's just to begin. That's just scratching the surface. But I just have to say this one last thing. The most ridiculous ticket that the police can give out It's ridiculous. And yeah, I said it. Call up a cop, call your favorite cop and tell them I said it. The most ridiculous ticket you can get is your light is out on your license plate. What in the hell? What in the hell fact do they got my license plate light is out, so you give me a ticket? I said, okay, the dangers are, well, we can't see your plates. Okay, first of all, in the daytime, you can see them. What I need the light for, okay? At night, unless your headlights is out, Mr. Officer, you still can see. That you just want the money. Don't be Biggie Smalls. You just want the money. That's it. Because there is absolutely no reason to give somebody a ticket for a license plate light being out. It's ridiculous. Matter of fact, manufacturers, Ford, Kia, Chevy, quit putting them on cars. We don't need them. We don't need them.
The dumbest thing ever. Like you said, your headlights are on the license plate.
Thank you.
Which are made with reflective paint. Might I add you? So it makes it clearly visible to you.
When you pull behind me to harass me, you can clearly see my plates. You saw them enough to run them. You know what I'm saying? You had to get out and take a flashlight to them. And if you couldn't see my plates, maybe you need a ticket because you got a headlight out.
That's right. That's right.
Rant over. Okay. So examples of criminal poverty might be, or include, but not limited to, criminalizing homelessness. My God, they are giving homeless folks tickets. But some of them are so petty. You out in public, and you should be away somewhere. It's the middle of the night. You ain't got a place to stay. You don't want to go stay in the shelter because they're overcrowded. Maybe there's no more room. You got to sleep on the street. You get a ticket for I forget. There's a ticket you can get when you just kind of lounging around, loitering maybe. But it's ridiculous. If I'm homeless, how in the hell you expect me to pay this fine? And then now next thing you know, I'm locked up. The next one, criminalizing mental illness. Now, here's little known fact. If you've been hospitalized for mental illness, that's somewhere in your file, right? My family member, she'd be like, why you put my business out? Family member was hospitalized where the police had to come and get her, yada, yada, yada. That's on her now. That's under her, I don't want to say under her license, but just like when they run your name, your social, that's some stuff that's flagging under you. You know what I'm saying? How they'll say, oh, the person's armed and dangerous, or they gotta have, they have drug history, drug sales in their past. That's on there too. You know what I'm saying? So they criminalize that. Yeah. So that's crazy. This one, you were just talking about that. Using a cash bail system. What you gonna do with that 500? Put that on my stuff. Are you just gonna hold? What? It's crazy, right? Adding cash penalties to traffic violations. Just talked about it. Y'all already, y'all know that. And this one was a new one. I dug deep for this one because I never heard of it before. I had to include it. Using the school to prison pipeline. I'll wait.
Oh yeah. That's
okay.
That's huge. That is huge, and that's the one that ties into the private prison industry. That's the one.
My God.
That
insane.
That keeps our curriculums and our school system in a manner that literally forces Black boys out of the school system. Because it's so, if you're not playing sports, and to keep you as a carrot in front of you, hey, I got to keep my grades up or else I'm not going to be able to play on the team. So I'm going to go and try to do the work, even though it's boring as hell, even though there's nothing in it for me, right? If you are in a school system and you're not at least playing sports, then a lot of times the curriculums in these school systems are not engaging enough for our young boys, and that forces them out into the streets, and that's the pipeline that you're referring to. And when you look at the correlation between how a lot of our schools look and model an actual prison, right? Versus schools in other communities and other cultures, they are more like a Google campus, right? It's a difference. They build them like a college campus, and they build our schools to mimic and model prisons, right? So it's a whole thing, man, and we've got to really understand how all of these dynamics play a part in creating and maintaining poverty. But then you got to know some things that you can do to get out of that situation as well. You listed here, number one, poor individuals are increasingly burdened with high fees and high fines. States were reluctant to raise taxes, leading many to charge individuals in the criminal justice system various fees to fund the criminal justice system and surcharges to fund the state's costs more broadly, right? And that is huge because there's a fee for everything. And when you're forced to pay a fee for anything, that is a form of taxation. But this is how they disguise taxation. You don't say, Michelle, you guys got a tax on the new car that I bought, but it is a tax because you pay not only sales tax, you pay personal property tax, and then you got to pay a registration fee for that car. Even if it's paid off every year, you have to pay a registration fee. So that's a force. So that's a form of a tax, right? And a lot of people don't understand that our tax system is designed to punish people for, get this, Michelle, most people don't realize this. Our tax system is designed to punish you for not doing business in America. Yep.
Oh,
see, America is a business.
Absolutely.
I want y'all to get this. We call it a country. America is a business. It's a corporation. And all of the states are subsidiaries of this corporate entity. So if you do not do business in America, your social security number is also your EIN number. But if you choose not to do business, which is your birthright in this country, the price you pay for that is high taxes. And they will tax you in every way that's imaginable. But if you do business, what do you get? All of those things become tax write-offs for you. Right? So the game is rigged, but at the same time, it's fair, right? It's rigged because it's set up for businesses to win, but it's fair that all of us can become business owners if we so choose. And if you don't, all these little taxes, these little fees will eat you up.
Oh my gosh. Lesson learned. Lesson learned on that. Man. All right. So number two, more of the effects of criminalizing poverty. These are the effects that it has on our society. Harsh enforcement mechanisms can perpetuate or cause poverty, right? So it says states resort to aggressive tactics to collect criminal debt. Payment plans, when they exist, are not always fair or effective. Most states offer limited community service options in lieu of criminal justice debts, and these programs can also lead to a spiral of debt and incarceration if not implemented with care, right? So it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But it just, these things, the tactics that they do when people, God forbid, like if you do commit a crime, because criminals should go to jail. You commit a crime, you go to jail, you spend time in prison. Number one, you get paid pennies a day, which, okay, that's, you're paying your debt to society. But when you get out, you owe. Now, I was in paying the debt that I owe to society by being pulled out of society and put into a prison where I have to do and come and go as you say. I get that. But when I get out, why am I still paying? A lot of times prisoners come home with more debt than they had when they went in. And it's crazy. It's crazy that they now are, trying to, number one, work their way back into society because there's a stigma on men or women that have been incarcerated for any amount of time. So I'm trying to work my way back in. And then when I do get a job to provide for my family or for myself and pay my regular essential bills, I got this prison debt. Oh, well, you know, you was in for 20 years, so you still owe us for the time you was in. Time served. Wow. It's prison is a business as well. And you know, we're targeting that for one of our upcoming shows, but it just is mind blowing when you really think about it. Pull your head out the sand or out your wherever it is, and just really think about it, because it's like, wow, what do we do? It makes you want to enforce change. What can we do?
And then there's the double dipping. Wait a minute. While I was in, you were charging my state a housing fee to house me anywhere from $30 to $130 per day per inmate. You were charging my state tax dollars while I was in, but then when I get out, I gotta pay you too.
Right. Right. Send me home with $30 in my pocket like you did something for me.
It's crazy. But these are the things this is why I fight so hard to help our people understand financial literacy, because you got to get yourself out of these conditions in order to really affect change. Like they say, what is the best thing that I can do for the broke community or the poor for my effect on poverty is to not be one, right?
Right.
That's the best thing that I can do for our community is not to be impoverished, and go out and get some knowledge and bring it back. But those things are tremendously burdensome, and nobody talks about the stress that comes from those things, Michelle. The stress alone, carrying that weight, can literally, because I know what it's like being in a situation where I got something hanging over my head for years, and I've been slowly taking care of it, and I'm on my way out, but then I get pulled over on a Monday. And if I have to go to jail and have to be locked up for 2 or 3 days behind a traffic ticket, I could lose my job.
Absolutely.
If I lose my job, then that's going to stack on a whole bunch of other debts, because now I can't pay my rent, I can't pay my bills, I get evicted, and now I got an eviction on my credit. It's just a whole negative cycle that we got to understand how to avoid altogether. Even after debt is paid, individuals and families face consequences. Bail, fees, and fines have their own collateral consequences. Post-conviction, several states report lack of payment of criminal debt to credit agencies, resulting in damaged credit scores that create hurdles to finding and maintaining housing and employment. Listen, y'all. Y'all see how the cycle traps you. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have to place some personal accountability and responsibility on the individual.
Absolutely.
Right. But what I am saying is, if I have to go to jail and I have to pay restitution, I get out of jail. First of all, if it's a felonious account, a record, then I'm not going to be able to find gainful employment because of the felony, because of all the laws that says you can discriminate on me because I have a felony charge on my record. So now I can't pay the restitution because I can't get gainfully employed. If I do get gainfully employed, it's usually a low wage, low paying job to start out. Not saying that you can't work your way up, but that's usually where it starts. Well, guess what? I gotta still survive today on top of paying my restitution for tomorrow. So that's why I talk to people who are in those situations, and it's always better in most cases for those people to go into business for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Just the better thing to do. And there's a lot of low entry fee type businesses that a person that can start and start generating some cash right away and build something amazing for themselves. But it's a negative cycle that
it is.
If you get into it, and it's hard to get out of it. And I'm not even talking about going to actual prison or penitentiary, right, where you have the felony. Just like if you could literally get pulled over and walk away from that instance with 4 or 5 tickets.
Easy, easy. You know, and like I said, just making light of it. You know, I'm not proud of it, but yeah, I've been to jail a number of times. I'm not a felon. I've never had a misdemeanor. I pretty much walked a straight line for the most part. I just was a single parent, and I didn't always have the knowledge to handle my money responsibly, and or didn't have the money to manage financially, you know, and because I had other pressing things, and I was criminalized for that, you know. And you're right, it's a cinder block around your neck. 12 years I drove, you know what I'm saying, without a license. You know, I drove with bad plates, you know, and it's a scary place to be, you know, because one cycle driving with your, you know, you get all those tickets. Before long, you get your license suspended. Well, okay, there's more fines because that's a heavy fine. You know what I'm saying? Then you get your license suspended so many times or for so long. Then it's revoked. Then you still got to go to work. You get pulled over again for driving while revoked and driving, and it's a vicious cycle. You know, and mine, I was in 12 long years, and I'll be honest with you, there was so much anxiety and the stress that it caused me. I wanted to go places and do things, but I literally would cringe. I would cry. I honestly, I remember one of my last prayers before I came. Y'all know me. Well, here it is. But before God lifted that thing off me, I remember asking him, am I going to die in this? Because I don't see no way free. You know what I'm saying? 14 different tickets from all these different municipalities. I didn't see a way of getting free, you know, and I'm grateful, you know, they had the Michael Brown thing and stuff was lifted. Some people's was lifted, some people's wasn't. I'm grateful to God I was one of the ones. For 14 different, you know, tickets. They took them all off my head but one, you know, and oddly enough, it was Ferguson was the one they left. But I thank God I was able to get my license back and just be where I needed to be and be on track. So it's a cycle. So it just
and then how about this one, Michelle? The sobriety checkpoint. Now, here's what you say. I'm going to create on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, I'm going to create a situation in a highly trafficked spot that we know people drink and drive on the weekends. So we want to create a situation where we're just going to have them pull in and we're going to check their sobriety. Now, I pulled in, I gave you my ID. It says who I am. You give me the breathalyzer test. You look into my eyes. I'm sober. That should be in the discussion, right? Because the purpose of everybody being stopped is to curb drunk driving.
Absolutely.
You wanted to make sure that the people on the road tonight at this time of night are sober. You did that.
Not drunk. Thank you.
But because you were able to stop me and pull me over, and you noticed that I didn't have my seatbelt on, even though I'm sober, you give me a ticket for no seatbelt. Because you pulled me over, now you notice that my license plate light is out. I need a bulb in my license plate light. So you give me a ticket for no seatbelt and a busted license plate light, right? That ain't the purpose of why you created this situation. You want to make sure that I am not drunk. And I get it. While you have me, you might as well make sure I am who I say I am. Do I have a valid license? Does the picture on the license match the picture of the man driving the car? Yes.
I get that.
Should be in the story. But it's not, right? They take those opportunities to dig as deep as they can in your history to find something. And when you create a situation where my job is tied to the amount of tickets I write, not amount of crime that I solve and the high or the levels of the crime
bad guys I lock up.
No, the amount of tickets that I write, just like it is July 27th. Somebody ain't made their quota this month. So them jokers gonna be out for the next 3 days.
They out.
So be careful in them streets.
That, you know what? That is just that whole sobriety checkpoint thing and getting pulled over. Here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand. If I'm not the driver, why is you acting with me? I'm in the passenger seat with my seatbelt on. Why you need my name? I'm not behind the wheel. Shouldn't make a difference if I'm drunk or not. Matter of fact, this joker drive because I'm drunk.
That's right.
Why are you asking for my name and ID? Why do you need to know who I am? And I'm a rider. I'm not driving. And this is a sobriety checkpoint. What difference do it make if I'm drunk or not? And I'm a rider. I'm a passenger. And I'm being taken home. What difference? Yeah. But you can run my name and do all of that. Oh, you got a warrant. You got to go. But oh, you drunk. We're taking you to jail. I'm riding because I'm drunk. And I got to go to jail still?
Yeah.
Over some bull crap?
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I hate to be the one to be like, ooh, let's fight the system. But I think that there has to be programs and different things that we can set up to help lobby to balance this stuff out. Do you realize, Cortez, we were talking about this before the show, not all, but a lot of the traffic stops that ended with Black men being shot, not all, but a lot started with them being flagged because of their plates. Something, a minor traffic offense. You know what I'm saying?
Being profiled. And you said there got to be a better way. There is a better way. See, in other communities and cultures, no, seriously, in the other communities and cultures, they actually fight crime. Like they keep the criminal element out so that they don't have to care about the people who may be late on their registration. They don't have to care about that because the crime is down in those other communities, right? Because that's what they're focusing on, right? We want to make sure ain't no children getting abducted. We want to make sure ain't no rapes happening out here. We want to make sure ain't no armed robberies, no burglaries out here. We want to make sure all of these things are being taken care of. And then they also have a greater police presence where high crime is likely to happen, right? But then when you think about our communities are, it's almost the reverse. It's like, no, we're not going to focus on the actual criminals. We're going to actually focus on those who happen to live in these crime-ridden areas, who may just be everyday citizens just trying to get to work and back. That's it, right? They're just trying to get to work and back and trying to stay out the way. And it seems like the intense focus is, like you said, when they realize that a large portion of their revenue could come from traffic violations, like you said, they just put a bunch of stuff on the books that made it an offense. Because that's the difference. These are offenses. These are not crimes, right? I offended the city because they want me to have my registration completed within a certain amount of time. That's an offense. That's not a crime, right?
Seriously.
A crime is where another individual is harmed. You got me tied up in all of this foolishness because of an offense, because of an ordinance. I rode through the wrong community with my music just a little too loud, right? Those are offenses. And when you can criminalize people for being who they are, I mean, it's wrong on so many levels. But at the end of the day, we've got to figure out, how do we go to a place where we start owning where we live? That's the end of that. At the end of the day, you can't dictate who polices your community until you own your community.
There it is.
Once we create ownership in our communities, then we can decide who the police chief is going to be, who they're going to promote to sergeant, what kind of officers they're going to allow on the streets. We can actually control the curriculum in the actual police academies and say, hey, this is how we want you guys who work for us, by the way, to deal with the citizens who live in this community. And by the way, pay your salary. But because we have limited ownership and we don't come together collectively as a unit to say, no, this is what's acceptable, this is what's not acceptable. Those are some challenges that we got to overcome.
It's insane that just from what you were just saying, Cortez, if we got more involved in our local politics, and I was honest, I didn't really dig politics until Obama was in office. And because I never really tripped off of it. But Obama, Uncle Barack, as I like to call him, he made me get involved in just knowing a little bit more about not just my country, my state, but my community. And here's a story. It's not a fact, but I think it could be proven if I did the research. I just don't feel like it. But I believe that there are more people that vote on The Voice, American Idol, America's Got Talent put together than there are that vote in local municipality voting, those voting times. You know what I'm saying? People will vote more for TV than they will to figure out who the next mayor of the municipality gonna be.
Right.
That's crazy. But something has to change. We can't just bellyache about how we don't like our community and then be unwilling to do anything about it. That's what I want us to take. That's what I want us to take away from today's show. Yeah, we criminalize poverty. It's bad, wag. But what are we gonna do about it? Yeah. I know you said you had some quick tips on what are some of the things that we could do, Cortez, to kind of help ourselves.
Yeah, you really gotta really take your own finances in your own hands. One of the problems that we have, Michelle, is that they don't teach finance in school. And here's why. Because poverty is $1 trillion industry. If you knew what and how to manage your money, what to do with your money and how to manage your money, then you wouldn't be in these situations where you can't afford your traffic ticket. You wouldn't be in these situations or live in these communities where you are criminalized because of the color of your skin and all those types of things. So one of the things that we have to understand is our biggest expense is taxes. And the only way that you can legally, ethically, and morally lower your taxes is to become an entrepreneur, period. The game is rigged. All of the benefits goes to entrepreneurs, landowners, and investors. A lot of us don't have the type of money to buy land right away. A lot of us are too afraid of investing, but you can take that gift that God gave you and you can turn it into a side hustle. But here's the thing, you got to legitimize the side hustle. You can't just keep thinking that money under the table is how you going to get by. When you have getting money under the table, you're not reporting that extra income and you're negating 450 plus tax deductions where you could be writing off things like the miles you're putting on your car, some of the meals that you have. We're traveling, going to see family in other cities and states. We could be writing that stuff off. The average working American could save $12,000 to $15,000 per year in taxes easy, Michelle, if they understood how a home-based business could, transform their finances. But again, it goes back to our school system that teaches us that entrepreneurship is risky. While at the same time, that same school system teaches us to ask entrepreneurs for a job, right? What do you mean? Well, they'll say entrepreneurship is risky, but here's how you conduct yourself on an interview. Here's how you fill out an application. Here's how you do a resume. Those things are asking entrepreneurs for a job because entrepreneurs create the jobs. So take your talent, turn it into a business like Michelle did with writing her first book. Now she's speaking, she's hosting, she's doing a bunch of stuff. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We got to go. So until we talk to y'all next time, get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up.